Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
So good morning, everybody. I'm hoping everyone's doing well. I'm not sure where you guys are from, but I'm sitting in, I think it's sunny North Carolina today. I'm in the Research Triangle area of North Carolina, right in the heart of the state, and we're growing like wild here. So I was asked to do something along the lines of creating a repeated referral business, which is what I've done for many, many years. I've got quite a history in the real estate business. I've been hanging around doing this for a very, very long time. So when I started talking to Autumn about topics, this was one that I was near and dear to my heart. So if you've got questions as we go along, please feel free to jump in. This doesn't have to be me just going through all of this, but this is going to be, I'll be more than happy to answer anything that you come up with as I start rattling off some of this stuff. So the objectives here, if you're new to the business, I want to help you find the people that will help your business grow. Then once you have some people that you know, that know, love, and trust you, I want to teach you some basics of the communication, keep them or make them raving fans. Because I think a lot of times what happens is we go when we close the transaction, and then we forget about them. We get busy with the next one, and we don't have systems at all in place to keep up with them. And if you've been around for a while, closed a number of transactions, I want to help you with those systems to keep, so that you can stay in touch with the people that, again, that have come to trust you. This is a pretty big place to make a whole lot of money. And I don't know about the rest of you, but what I have learned is that it's very, very hard to get people to really love you that you meet on the doorstep of a house. So this is such a healthy, wonderful database of folks once they have trusted you with their money already. So I'm going to do this in 3 different sessions. I hope you guys get enough out of this one that you will come back. This one is really basically finding your people in the organization of how you get everything aligned. May 21st, we got our people. What are we going to do with them? And then June 11th, if you will come back, bring some ideas and brainstorm with me, because I have done this for so many years and I've been to so many different conferences and roundtables that I have really learned from other people some marvelous kinds of things to do. So moving on, am I really smart? No, I wish I was. I spent years working on this, and the 2 of my best mentors in learning how to really build a great repeating referral business are Joe Stump, with Power Referral only, and then Brian Buffini. I'm not sure whether you guys are familiar with, if they're RE/MAX people on here, I'm sure you're familiar with Brian Buffini because he speaks at every RE/MAX convention that there is. But Joe Stump has been around for years and years and years, and Brian actually worked for Joe originally, and then he went off on his own. And they're a little bit different. I think Brian's built more of a coaching community and does more with coaching than Joe does. Joe has gone down a little bit different avenue. Both of them are great. I do a lot of the stuff with Joe Stump. I belong to that particular community, and I don't spend a lot of money with them. I don't do the coaching there. I do a lot of the postcards, letters from the heart, Fun Day Monday, lots of things that we'll talk about as we go along. But I can tell you that both of them have the same mindset that, why do you want to go out and pay for leads, buy new business, and do things when you already have people in your database that you've done a great job for and that can refer other people to you? I think with I've done Brian's systems, and I've had people on my team do his systems, and he is very, very well organized. So for newbies, it's a great place to start. And then I think as you kind of progress on, some of Joe's stuff also is really, really wonderful. So both of those guys, just the tip of the iceberg, but man, they have got it dialed in. If you're just starting out in the business, this section is for you. It's hard to build a business if you don't have history. So do have a business coach who actually brought me to EXP, Coach John, who I dearly love. And he sent me a copy of his memory jogger, which he gave me, when I started coaching with him, which was in 2007, I believe. And I looked at it the other day. I'm more than happy to share it with any one of you. If you'd like for me to send you a copy of it, you can put in the chat box your information, and I can send it off to you. But when I started reading it the other day, it was really funny because Coach John and I are similar in age, and we go back to the Rolodex era. So a lot of it is people that just saw the verbiage on it is really funny. I probably need to clean it up a little bit before I send it out. And then it talks about you have something on your desk like a daytime or a Rolodex. And if you're less than probably 40 years old, you don't know what I'm talking about. But it's a great tool about who do you know already? Who does your hair? Who do you spend money with? Who loves you? And as it says here, if you're 25 years or older, you know at least 1,000 people. You've just forgotten them. If you've got kids, who's the soccer coach? Girl Scouts. Man, I was a Girl Scout mom for years when my daughter was coming along and met tons of people that way. Just who do you know and who already loves you? Who's your family? Who's in your church? There's just so many places to find lots of people. So start making your list. It can be any way. You can write it down on a piece of paper. You can do CRMs, and I think that's coming all up. Here we go. So if you're brand new, though, you may, other than just who do you know, there are other ways of finding that first or second person to sell a house to. Open houses. Used to hate them, but now I love them. And I think they're definitely coming back. Let's see. Let me get the chat box going. How many folks are doing are new that are all? How about, if you don't mind, put in the chat box if you're new. If you've got less than a year in the business, or just put your number of years. That's probably a better way of doing it in the chat box for me, if you would, please, just so I kind of know who the audience is. If you've been around for a long time, that might help me just a little bit. If you don't mind, just pop it in the chat box for me, and then we'll know kind of what we're doing. So, great story. I don't do a ton of open houses, but I will from time to time. I usually year 6. Okay, so Derek, you've got some clients out there, so they probably already know and love you. So this ought to be, some of the stuff ought to be really great for you. And push into a lot more open houses. Well, I just finished this weekend. I don't do a lot of buyers anymore because obviously you've got to leverage your time. But I did an open house 2 years ago just to make one of my clients happy. And I didn't have a team member to do that open house, so I did it. Apparently, I impressed someone with was just what I was talking about. I have no clue what I said. Again, I'm not that smart. I just like to talk too much. And they went off their merry way. I didn't write down a whole lot of information because, again, I'm not looking for buyers. I'm not overly excited about finding buyers. I'd rather have the listings and my team member have the buyers. And I was just doing that as a favor to my seller. So not a great thing to say. I should have done more, followed up with that buyer. 2 years later, they reach out to me, and I'm now working with them on a $500,000 sale. So open houses are a great way to find people, and people are out there wandering around. So if you're on a team leads, I know my team has gotten, I did buy a boatload of leads over the years and still buy a boatload of leads. So if you're on a team, shoot. Go to your team leader, see what kind of leads are coming in. We did a lot of Zillow at one point. I've done Realtor.com. We have a lot of things that are coming in that are distributed amongst the team. Don't be a stealth agent when you're out and about. Let people know what you do. And I cannot imagine that anybody would not be letting people know what they do. And then, of course, family and friends. They're the ones, they're going to be your best advocates because they know you and love you, and they want to make sure that your business is growing. So that first opportunity, if, again, not many people, well, I think Derek, you're about, only participant here as to how many years you've been in the business. So I don't know whether I've got newbies or not, but if you don't, that's a good place to at least get started. So thanks, Darius. If you closed a few, and your seasoned agent, was it just a paycheck for you? How much do you know about your client? Do they have kids? Do they have a dog? Are they a friend to you now? Maybe they're cat people? Do they travel? Where do they like to go? Do they like music? What do you know about them? That's going to be critical as you move forward in trying to build this repeat and referral business. If it was just a paycheck and you walked away, you got nothing, you're missing out on thousands of dollars. I can tell you that some of my clients are now my best friends. And again, I've been around for a very long time, but when I started in real estate, I knew 3 people in the town where I lived, which was kind of a crazy career to choose, but that's a story for later. So make sure that as you're going through the process to ask questions, and my coach pounds that into my head all the time about ask questions. Don't just talk, ask questions. And some of it can be personal. It depends on the personality type you're dealing with. If it's a high D, they're not going to tell you a whole lot. And you don't ask a lot of questions to a high D, obviously, because they just want to get business done or move on. But most people are more than happy to tell you a whole lot about them. And then if you're standing there and having a conversation in person, you're not going to be taking a whole lot of notes, obviously. But if you're on the phone, man, you can be using whatever CRM that you have chosen to use to really get started. So organization, don't care how you start. Grab a piece of paper. Use it. There's my typo for the day. Use Excel spreadsheet, and we all have access to KV Core. So do something. And don't get so bogged down in how a CRM works or choosing the right one. All that can come later. So if you're really anxious to get rolling with it, just do whatever you can. If you are disorganized with your database, that's going to be the first order of business. We go through ours about every 2 to 3 years and really cull it out and clean it out. Because we get a lot of junk in our database. And a lot of times it's leads that are coming in from realtor.com or that we're generating from our website. And so there's a lot of stuff that gets misallocated within the database. So we will go through it and make sure that it's nice and clean. And we have just gone through that whole exercise. So make sure your database is cleaned up. And if you've got one, go ahead and get that done. But if you're a new agent, just start writing down names. Who are you going to call? Who are you going to contact? Who you want to talk to? Who you want to be your raving fan? And again, seasoned agents, get your stuff together because it's time. And it's time to get it all pulled together because there's lots of things to do with all of the people that you've got in your database. So raving fans, how do you organize your database? Our raving fans are our A people. Those are the people that are going to refer on a regular basis. And by referring on a regular basis, I mean 1 or 2 a year at least, and some 3 or 4 a year. It just depends on what type of business you've got, how many sales you're making a year. It can be 1 a year, but somebody that when they think real estate, they think you, and they're going to tell whoever they're talking to that they're going to that you're the one that they need to be talking to about a house. Be people the ones that love you and know that they'll send somebody your way, but you need to help remind them. They may forget that you're in real estate. So you need to stay in touch with your B people, but they may need that little nudge that, hey, listen, if you know of anybody, don't forget to send them our way. And C people, we keep those on our list. We just never know whether they're going to send it to somebody or not. They're great, but well worth some of our marketing too. And you'll see as we go through some of this information, we do different things for the A, Bs, and Cs. C people can be moved up to a B or even an A. Sometimes a C person has shocked me and they ended up being an A person. And then the other people that are in our database, we just call them fun but hopeless. They're not ever going to do anything and they're probably not worth spending our money on. And eventually we remove them from the database. And our database has probably got about 5,000 people in it. which is not huge. I talk to agents that have got 10 and 20,000 people in their database, but we do not do all 5,000 people when we do marketing things and marketing events. So just a little history, just so you know kind of where I came from and what I'm doing and who I am. In the good old days, when I started in real estate, we had no cell phones, we had no computers, we had no fax machines, we had nothing. We started from scratch, and the way we got our leads was from phone duty. And basically, it saves the company money. They didn't have to hire a receptionist. You sat on phone duty in 4-hour shifts. I did as much as I possibly could because, again, as I said, I knew 3 people in the town where I was living. And so I had to find clients somewhere. So you'd answer the phone. They wanted to go see a listing of somebody's. You grabbed them and you took them. And that was how I started my real estate career. And then, of course, there were open houses. And then we did some geographical farming and did some really cool things with geographical farming that were cheap and lots of fun to do. So I had a partner at that point, and she and I, we had a blast doing that. But again, I don't know whether I've got newbies on here or not, but my biggest break was signing a rental for someone. And that was many, many years ago. I had my old neighbor moved to Washington, D.C. or the Northern Virginia area, bought a house that overlooked the Potomac River. It was an old house. I think it was an 1800s house or maybe late 1700s house. Horrible shape. She hired a handyman. His wife was working for a startup game company, and there were 4 guys that were working at the company. They wanted to move to the Triangle, and they wanted her to come down and be the bookkeeper. So she asked my friend, my old next door neighbor, hey, do you know anybody that can help me find a rental? And Kelly called me, and I thought, no, great, a rental. That still paid me maybe a couple of $100 on my time, but I might as well give it a try. So she came down. She was delightful. We had a good time. We found her a nice little rental, and she said, I'm working for these guys. There are about 10 of them now working with the company. I don't think they're going to make it. I don't want to move my family here, but thank you for helping me find a rental. That company ended up being Epic Games, the ones that does Fortnite now. And over the years, I need to count it at some point, but I've sold at least 1,000 houses because of that one rental that I did. I think I made $200 off of that day's work, but I ended up selling her house where she did decide that they were going to make it in the business. And then sold that house for her, sold her another house, sold that house when she finally retired. I stayed with her all the way through her career. Eventually, they went to a relocation company. I lost the end, but for a very long time, I had everyone that came into the company, everyone they hired, and I had some dear friends that work there still. A lot of them made a ton of money and lived on to do other projects. So it was a great thing to get to do. And again, it all started just with a rental. So if you knew, I can't tell you enough about that. And then some of the things that we did once we got involved with the company are really cool ideas of how we did stuff with our marketing and how we farmed within that one company to be able to get the repeats and the referrals because they really knew us. So last year, our volume was over 30 million, and 75% of that was repeat and referral. The other 25% were leads that we bought, Realtor.com stuff, and of course, all of the things that sort of find us just normally, like they find everybody else. Fast Expert, all those things that we had to pay these egregious fees to. So that kind of gives you a pretty good background of some of where I have been and what I have been working on for the last 37 years. I've got 37 years of doing this, and my referral base is pretty massive. I do use a CRM for mine. I do a long time on the phone and talking and working with my referral base because I want to keep it active. I want to keep people there. I want to keep people engaged all the time. I don't want them to forget me. I don't want them to find somebody else. I don't want them to go to your open house areas and find you and forget that they know me. I want them to be my people and I want them to refer everybody over to me. Uh, so I know I've talked a lot. Does anyone have any questions? Anything that you want to ask me before we kind of move on to what we're going to think about for some homework? Anybody want to chime in, ask the question? I'm curious. You can put in the chat box. You can just raise your hand. You can unmute yourself. I'm more than happy to answer questions about where we are at this point in this. Has it been helpful at all? No? Yeah. I see a head nod. Well, I don't know how many people we've got on here. I've got just partials here, so not many people. I don't see very many people on the actual screen. Everybody's kind of hiding behind their cameras today. So, okay, why not for the next round that we do this? We got a little bit of time. I would really like for anybody that is new in the business to jump on and start making a list of 100 people. Find out and get phone numbers, email addresses, and their home address. If you can get their birthdays, that would be outstanding as well, because we do a lot with birthdays on our team. Anything that you can get, jump in there and try to find them. On our list that I have, just to give you some ideas of people, think about anyone that you spend money with. That's always a good place to go. Who does your hair? Who does your nails? And, for the women that are on here, or well, the guys, you get your hair cut, I guess. I don't get to see all of you, so I'm not really sure what you're looking like these days. Where do you shop? Who changes the oil in your car? Who's the teacher? Who's your kid's school teachers? Who's the soccer coach? All of those people, you go on the list so that you're not spending money with the soccer coach. I know. Well, maybe you are. I guess we paid an awful lot for soccer when we were coming along. But anyone that you can come up with, and then dig a little bit deeper. And again, if you want my list, the memory jogger, it's about a 4-page list of possibilities of people. Send me your email address. I'll send it out to you. It's pretty cool about where you can find different people. Just think about people that you know, people, and don't be afraid. I think one of our biggest things is fear in all of this. I make lots of calls, and there are people that I think, man, I haven't talked with them in 3 years. How are they going to react? And it's always they're happy to hear from me. And it's like old friends reconnecting. So I would say, don't be afraid to pick up the phone. And then those of you that have been around for a while, organize your list. Figure out who your raving fans are. Figure out who your B's and C's are, and then your fun but hopeless people are. Get them all organized. And if you are working with a CRM already, put it in there and tag them however you do it, whatever CRM you're in. Everyone's kind of doing KV Core. We've done several different ones over the years. So we have lots and lots of notes and ways of tagging people. I also am a great fan of the DISC profile. If you do know what your people are, if you're familiar with the DISC profile, then use that. If you know that you're dealing with a high D, if you know you've got an S or a C, whatever personality style you've got, pop that in with your notes, because that's helpful as well, especially when you're just meeting people. The more you can learn about them, that's going to help you, because what you're going to be doing as you're going through talking to folks is making notes in your CRM. I have massive notes from calls where I've talked to someone and they said, "Oh man, little Joey was sick last week. The dog was at the vet. My husband was out of town." All of those go into my notes in my CRM, so that when I call them back the next quarter, then I can always ask, "How's Joey? I know your dog was sick the last time we talked. I hope you got everything resolved. Hopefully the dog didn't die." That's always an upsetting when there's something horrible's happened. But anyway, you can you got your notes, and people know I'm not good enough to remember everything. So if you've got it all in your CRM, you've got great things to talk about as you kind of go through making all of those calls. what we'll be talking about as we progress. We do a 32 touch program where we touch our people 32 times a year in either by phone, mail, in-person visits, or our events. And we try to do a couple of events a year. We also will be talking about budget because everything costs money. There's some things that are not as costly as others. So we'll kind of go through, okay, well, if you don't have a buckets full of money, which most of us do not because it's been a hard couple of years here, how do we do that? And how do we do it effectively? So that's some of the stuff that's going to be coming up. So on May the 21st, we'll get back together if you guys are game, if you think this has been helpful, and start working through the next phase of it. And if you'll come back and have a list that's organized, that will definitely help. And then we can kind of figure out where to go from there.
If you'd like more information or to get connected to the Agent Power Huddle, join our free Facebook group. This call was designed for the agents in our EXP organization, but open to any agent from any brokerage. If you're a guest and you're interested in learning more about EXP or our specific resources within the Agent Collective, reach out to the person who invited you to this call to get more info. Produced by the Agent Collective Media Network.